Hello students, I am Achal Sharma, Department of Education, B.Ed student, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. So today we'll be dealing with an interesting topic, the Indian Constitution. By the end of this video, you'll be able to learn the meaning of Indian Constitution, why it is needed in a country like India, and the main key features of Indian Constitution. So let's start. I hope you all must have played some of the other games in your life. So for example, let's take football. While we play football, there are some rules to be followed. For example, if the ball touches the arm of the player, so it is considered a foul. So if everybody start taking the ball in their hand and pass from hand to hand, it's not considered football anymore. Similarly, a society also has consecutive rules to be followed. A written document in which we find such rules is called constitution. Now, it is a set of rules which is defined for all the people of a country which they agree upon on a common point. So, why a country needs a constitution? Let's understand this with an example of our neighboring country, Nepal. As we know, until recently, Nepal was a monarchy. All the powers were rested with the king. But the people there were not actually satisfied with the previous constitution, so they developed and adapted, established a new democracy, a new constitution which they totally could believe upon. So, as we know, constitution is very much necessary for the country. So, there are some significant features and functions why it should be adapted in a country. So, let's understand this with an example. As we can see here, when this storyboard is the example of a classroom where Suresh is a monitor and he is a bully, where the teacher has to go out for some work, so she assigns the class monitor to mind the class, but he actually is gonna pick on Anil because he doesn't like him. So what happens is when the teacher comes back, he says that the Anil was disturbing the class and he did not listen to me. To which the ma'am punished him and said that you have to stay back and write that you will not disobey the class monitor 100 times. But he said, ma'am, I did not do anything. Where it was not his fault, but because he picked a fight on him, now he had to bear the consequences. Such critical situations also happen in our country as well, in our society as well, where we elect our representatives and give them the powers and the responsibilities that they have to tackle, but they misuse the authority. So constitution lays and ensures some rules and regulations that ensures us and prevents us from such misuse of authority required. Another feature or the function of constitution is the dominance of majority over minority is prevented. Let's understand this with another example. Here it is again the scene of a classroom or the playground where the children are playing. The girls wanted to play basketball, where the boys are more in numbers, so they opt for cricket. Where the teachers decided to settle the problem with a show of hands, obviously there are more boys in the class, so the majority wins. Here, the teacher is not able to fulfill the needs and demands of the minorities. Such unhealthy situations can also happen in our democracy as well. So, to prevent us against this, Constitution has laid down some rules so that our minority or all the minority group people are not exempted from any of the equal opportunities given to the majority of the people. Another function of constitution, that why it is very much necessary, is to save us from ourselves. Sounds strange. So let's understand this with another set of a storyboard. When Shabnam was in a fix, she had a decision to make. A fix here means is in a dilemma. So what happened here is she had a test next day, but she also had a TV program of her favorite which she wanted to watch very impatiently. So what happened here was her mom asked, why are you looking worried? To which she replied she wanted to watch the TV program but have a test tomorrow. So if nobody watches TV today, she would be less tempted and she would study more. Such unhealthy situations also happen in our democracy, where what happens is we sometimes take very selfish decisions and do not think of the later consequences as a whole of our country. So Constitution laid down some rules to prevent us so that we do not go against our constitution and against the will and goodwill of all the people in our country. Now, as I hope that you all must have understood the basic meaning of constitution, so who is the father of Indian Constitution? Rightly said, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is the father of Indian Constitution, but he was not the one person who contributed in the making of our Indian Constitution. Let's know the making of our Indian Constitution in a bit brief. When the long experience of our authoritarian rule under the colonial state convinced us Indians that we need a very free and democratic India, where we are not under somebody else's rules. So, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, along with 300 members of the Constituent Assembly, they gathered together and they met periodically for the next 3 years from 1946 to draft this Indian Constitution. They rose to the occasion and gave this country a visionary document that reflects the respect for maintaining diversity while preserving the national unity. As we know that India is a very diverse country with different culture, community, religion and everything. So it is very difficult for them to draft a one set of rule book which could satisfy each and every individual, but still they managed to somehow incorporate all of the regions of our country and make our constitution, where the final document also reflects their concern for eradicating poverty through socio-economic reforms, as well as emphasizing the crucial role that people can play in choosing their representatives. As we know, we are in a parliamentary form of government, we can elect our representatives. Next, let's move to the key features of Indian Constitution. That are federalism, parliamentary form of government, separation of powers, fundamental rights and secularism. Starting with federalism. So federalism is a distribution of authority around local, national and state governments. In India, the local government or the third tier government is also known as Panchayati Raj system. Here, under federalism, there are two levels of government. One is the central authority, which deals with the major affairs, the current national matters, and the other is the local government, which looks for after the functioning of the day-to-day matter and the regional affairs. Where, as you can see here, the union list is concerned with the central government matters, state list is concerned with the state government matters, and the concurrent list is where both central and state government come together and make the decisions on such topics like education, forest, trade, etc. Now, moving on to the parliamentary form of government. As you can see, this picture here is about the people standing in a line to vote. Parliamentary form of government is that we elect our representatives, where this means that people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. We, as a citizen of India, have a power to vote, have a power to elect. So, every citizen of India country, irrespective of their social background, can also contest in elections. If the constitution gives us the right to vote, they also give us the right that we can stand there and be a leader as well. Also, these representatives are accountable to the people. Why accountable? Because we elected them, so they are definitely answerable and accountable to us. The next point is separation of powers. It's very deep and detailed, but here we'll be studying it very briefly. It is about separation of powers, where it is divided into three governmental bodies: legislature, executive and judiciary, where legislature is the rule making department, executive is the rule application department, and judiciary is the rule adjudicatment department. What happens is they all keeps a checks and balance on the other two. When I say that I'll be keeping a check on you while you do your homework, so you will be more enthusiastic, more honestly, you do the work more honestly, with more enthusiasm and all your sincerity. But when you know that no one is keeping a check on you, so you will be very careless. That is what it's trying to tell here is checks and balance means one authority, one department keeps a check on the other two, and they make sure that the other two are not creating any nuisance or not taking some bad decisions that might influence the other two, because they all are interconnected with each other. Moving on, let's talk about the fundamental rights from part 3, articles 12 to 35. We will be talking about the fundamental rights, that is, fundamental rights protect citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of the power by the state. The constitution guarantees right of the individuals against the state and also against by the other individuals. So here we have total 6 fundamental rights, that are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational remedies, also right to constitutional remedies. Here, along with this, we also have a set of rules and principles regarding the fundamental duties and the DPSP, that is the Directive Principles of State Policy, that also helps in the smooth functioning of our constitution. Moving ahead, we also have the next point is secularism. As we know, India is a very diverse country, so we cannot promote any one religion because that would be offensive and not acceptable by the other religions. So India as a country, the constitution states that India is very neutral about the religion status. They do not officially promote any other religion as their official religion. So they are a very secular state and India is a very secular country. So by this we end our lecture today, and I hope you all must have understood the meaning of Indian Constitution, why there is a need of Indian Constitution in today's world and in today's democratic society is needed. Also the key features of Indian Constitution. So thank you so much.